Hello and welcome to my presentation this week, which is an introduction to ethics training. As you can see and read in our department mission statement, we have a duty to serve and protect the people of Riverside County in a fair and humane manner. Riverside is a large and diverse, and in order to fulfill the objectives of our mission statement, it is important to know and understand the ethics or behaviors necessary to be a deputy with this department. Before we get too far into the ethical training, we need to look at some of the underlying ethical are the foundation of policing. The first and foremost would be contractarianism theory of Hobbes. Uh, as law enforcement officers, we serve an oath or swear an oath, which is a literal contract between you as an officer or a deputy and the people of the community or county that you serve. And the next one would be the ethical triangle of Dr. Kem is a vital theory for law enforcement in solving ethical dilemmas or situations. You can see in the graphic that the triangle is made up on the three sides, being the categorical imperatives of Kant, in which we are to follow and uphold the laws fairly and without prejudice in a just manner to all people, regardless of our personal beliefs or our relations with other people within the community or within our own department. Next is the utilitarianism theory of Bentham and Mill, which we need to be cognizant and aware of the impact or consequence that our decision will have, and we need to strive to make the decision or the choice that produces the greatest good for the greatest number of people in our county. And finally is the virtue theory of Aristotle. Our department basically sums up his theory as always do the right thing for the right reason all of the time. And the reason that the ethical triangle is so vital for law enforcement is not every situation is going to be the same. Everything's not black and white, so there's not always a set answer or rule to follow to guide the officer. So an officer needs to consider these three different theories and the outcomes that each one would produce, and then from the choices available from all three of those theories, the officer needs to choose the best of those choices and then follow through on that. Now, why is ethics so important to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department so specifically? They are the Code of Conduct and the Code of Ethics are specific minimum guidelines and standards by which each deputy must adhere to. And you can see our department does have very specific written code of ethics, as well as our value statement. Within our value statement, it backs up everything that's our code of ethics, which our code of ethics is actually adopted from the National Law Enforcement Code of Ethics that pretty much every department follows. It's reaffirmed in our value statement, those things that our department deems as high values for law enforcement officers or deputies within our departments. And as I stated, each one of those 4 points in our value statement are reaffirmed from the Code of Ethics. And additionally, our General Orders Manual, specifically Section 202, deals with a code of conduct for our department. And the Riverside Sheriff's Department has literally 50 individual items that cover the code of conduct of each individual deputy within the department, which we'll get into later in the full training. And in addition to that, the department has mandated and required annual training for ethics that everybody needs to, as a requirement for every deputy in the department. So let's talk about a quick ethical scenario just to get an idea of what we're going to be looking at as we move into the full training later. So we'll start with a very simple one. Everybody, most all cops like their coffee. So say you stop or a coffee shop like a Dunkin' Donuts to get your cup of coffee. There's no charge for the coffee. So what do you do in that situation? That's considered a gratuity, which goes against the law enforcement code of ethics to not accept any gratuities at any time. Now, RSO specifically, as a department, frowns upon accepting gratuities, and a singular incident like this in and of itself is not really a big deal. However, the real problem is if you continue to go to the same convenience store for the coffee, knowing that it's going to be free every time, and try and take advantage of resolutions to this particular situation. First, obviously, is to offer to pay anyway, graciously declining of free coffee. Maybe you can even purchase some sort of item, like you see in the graphic, maybe some gum or something in addition. So you're at least paying for something and not just walking away with free items. And we'll get into the full training at a later point. Thank you very much for your time.